morning, fellow traders. Bob Wood here. It's time for the Good Morning Market Prep for Thursday, November the 12th, 2020. I hope everybody had a great night last night. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Good. All right, let's check and see where we left with the market yesterday. So SPX, again, pushed over the upper Bollinger Band here on the monthly chart. It's still green on the month. Weekly chart, interesting, right? We have this spinning top up here off of the fresh all-time highs and also fading the weekly gap. So now we have 2 trading days now that the banks and the Fed are back open today to see how this candle is going to close on the week, to see what we might be able to anticipate going into next week, right? This could be an interesting reversal candle, possibly an evening star reversal if it closes like this, especially if next week we push down below 50% of the range of this candle here. So there's a lot to consider, right? But we'll kind of keep an eye on it. One of the big things that we're tracking right here is the impulsive wave up that we saw after this ABC correction, right? One of the possibilities that we were looking at was a triangle, but after we broke out of the triangle high, it kind of eliminates that as an opportunity. So this was such an impulsive move, we have to assume that Monday's big reversal candle was the end of this wave. So now where is it going to pull back and get going again, right? So it's hanging under the 236 here from the lows, but if it wants to be a normal wave 2, if this is a wave 1, right, we would expect this to be sort of like an A, B, maybe a C move to the 382, or it might get a little more complex and work its way down to kind of retest these prior resistance levels, see if it wants to hold there and work its way up. We do have a fresh upward trend line right here, so again, if it breaks down a little bit farther or it goes sideways farther, we could look at that as a potential point of support. Let's take a look at the SPY and see how it is behaving here. Again, less volume yesterday, again this morning, kind of triangulating going into today. Let's take a look at the S&P futures. Again, very similar. We had a big drop last night. We were looking like it was kind of tanking for a little bit, and then we got to this signal zone here below around the 3540 area. We kind of held that a little bit, gave a nice little harmonic move this morning, right? So by the harmonics, I mean kind of like a butterfly formation, right? And if y'all have seen that series, if you haven't, definitely check that out on our YouTube, right? You had this move up right here. One of our members actually pointed this out to us here this morning. But gave kind of this nice harmonic pattern right here, and is starting to reverse off of those levels, right? So you see kind of like that butterfly type style, that animal type pattern on that one. So anyway, working its way down here. Let's see how it holds this fresh signals over here. Again, this is a rally-based rally right here. We have a geometric line below to see how that holds going into today. Let's take a look at the MES. Again, the MES hanging in there pretty decently, right? So we've got a geometric line right here and a geometric line right here to see how these hold today. Again, triangulating just like the SPY. So good stuff. Let's stay with the Qs and see what they're up to this morning. A little bit more money going into tech today. So the Qs have been channeling up here over the last couple days, and kind of at the top of the channel right here. So again, it's really got to break out of those. Otherwise, like we're seeing a little bit of resistance up there going into this morning. But we'll see how that goes here going into today. The IWM's been pretty choppy here, and really just kind of triangulating for the last couple days. So I think it's just, it liked the Pfizer news for sure. Right, it really loved it, but then again, it kind of reversed off of that, and it just needs some support, right? And it can't do it without the banks, right? So the XLF, hopefully working on a bull flag right here to kind of bring the market up. If not, if this breaks down, then we could see that wave 2, that macro wave 2 that we've been talking about on the daily chart, start to materialize. But like we said, the Q's kind of working their way up here this morning. So a few tech names getting a little bit of flow this morning. Again, Apple gapping up a little bit here, but looking a little bit sketchy. Tesla's a good one to keep an eye on here this morning, right? So it was an inside day yesterday, right? Very compressed inside day. And one of the big things with Tesla, right? It's in this this larger daily triangle, right? In a really narrow range NR7 inside day. So again, if it could pop above these highs or get some strength today, this thing could really get some energy and get going. So like we said, it's over the it's basically testing the inside day highs right here. It's got an old open gap that it could test over these levels, right? I'd like to see it start to eat into these levels right here and maybe start to make a run to get out of that macro triangle, which would be great. Okay, so that being said, let's take a look at a couple other names. Speaking of electric vehicles, NIO, this thing's been such a monster. Look at that, just continue to work its way up. We got lucky on this one. I mean, not lucky, but it would a nice 618 retrace. But just the way this thing is such a monster, right? So we took profit at the open here on a swing yesterday, and then members actually went long on this one. Look at this thing just continuing to go here this morning. It's just such a monster. So, I mean, just the strength of it is just, when is this thing going to end this parabolic move? So again, it's acting a lot like Tesla used to act, right? So Zoom was gapping up a little bit this morning, kind of fading consolidating the gap a little bit here. Again, my whole take on Zoom is that it's still overall bearish, right? It still looks like a 1-2-1-2 here on the daily chart, and we're right at the 382 retrace from yesterday. So if we can't hold that going into today, this gap fill starts to get a lot more enticing here on the daily chart for Zoom. Walmart got a bunch of upgrades this morning. Again, this is on our bullish radar yesterday off of the inside day, and it took a nice inside day up, and it's just kind of chopping around here pre-market. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that we did like this inside day, and I love how it retested the highs and bounced off of that yesterday. Snap is going to be one to kind of keep on the radar here. I had it on the bearish radar. It's up here with the rest of the market here today, but I like the upper shadow off the ADMA, and it also had some acquisition news yesterday, right? So this is the type of candle that could get some follow through. We'll just kind of keep an eye on Snap today, see how it holds these Fibonacci levels, right? It might kind of come up. If it can't hold that 618 move, right, we might see Snap start to work its way down, especially if the market is weak here today. Amazon is one that we projected with a gap up here this morning. It seems to be about flat here this morning, so we'll see how that goes going into today. Again, there's a lot of divergences in the market here this morning. One of the big things with Amazon here is it's holding the downward trend line right here. It did have decreased volume, so it makes it a little bit sketchy, and the risk reward on it is not really that good going into the ADMA and the cloud. VRM earnings yesterday. Right, so kind of down on earnings right here. Again, below 33 we get interesting, but it's got a huge range after hours. So again, if it's at 35 right now, that puts it, I think, at its all-time lows, right? So again, really keep an eye on the after hours levels right here. Again, here's a good level here. This 35-30 level is interesting. So keep an eye on that if Vroom is one that you like to trade. Another one is GRWG. GRWG with a nice gap up here, but if it can't get over here and get over 25, we might see a reversal back down on GRWG. The only one that looks like it's poised for potential gap and go is PDD. Again, it's got to get over 140 here to really get going, but a big gap up on PDD off of their earnings report, and that puts it basically gapping up to all-time highs right here. So it could see a gap and go today if it can get over those pre-market highs or hold any significant pre-market pivots. Anyway, good stuff, guys. I hope everybody has an awesome trading day today. We'll see you guys at Lunchtime Market Update. Until then, stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game.